So effective goal setting is to create that burning desire. And my friend Brian Tracy would tell you, if you don't have a burning desire, make it your burning desire to find that burning desire. Because unless you have it, you won't be able to achieve great success in your life. Secondly, ask yourself, am I a transactional leader or am I a transformational leader? Most leaders are transactional. I pay you, you work for me. That's transaction. A transformational leader is somebody who is engaging, empowering, energizing. Ask yourself, when is the last time you really engaged your people? And when I say engage means listen, not talk. You listen 2/3 and talk 1/3. When is the last time you sat down with your people and listened 2/3 and talked 1/3? And not only listen, but you listen with your eyes, with your ears, with your heart, with undivided attention. Totally focused on what the person was saying. What's going on? That's a transformational leader. How many of us leaders empower our people to make decisions? And then we say, we got so much work, we cannot catch up, I'm a slave to my business, everything comes to me. But if you don't empower, then you cannot expect anything else. So a high-performance leader is a transformational leader, not a transactional leader. How often do you energize your people? How often do you catch your people doing things they do wrong? If you catch people doing things wrong, they do more wrong things, they have less energy. But if you go to your work and breathe, where are they doing things right? Where are they doing things right? Catch them and say, wow, that was phenomenal, specifically saying what they did right. Makes people excited, makes people passionate, makes people happy. They want to do more good things. So, are you a transformational leader or a transactional leader? Number 3, ask yourself, as a leader, a high-performance leader, have I unleashed the power in myself? And if you're saying yes, I'm saying you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. Because the best and the best and the best in the world have not exhausted their potential. The Ronaldos and the Messis and the Gareth Bale and Neymar, they all have coaches because they can still improve. So all of us, even if you live another 100 lifetimes, will not exhaust the potential you have within yourself. So have you unleashed the power within yourself as a high-performance leader? And have you been able to unleash the power of around you? So if you haven't, you have room to improve. And it begins with today. Because today you will pick up some ideas, practical ideas that you can go home and apply them right away. Not next year or someday somewhere. And finally, in business, the important thing is, are you building your business with trust, value, and connection? Not just communication, but connection. The power is not just in communication. I'm communicating to you, but if I'm not connecting to you, I'm losing you. So the power is in connection. I connect with you. I care about you. Your success is my success. Your passion is my passion. Your happiness is my happiness. You know, I got a call. I got a call last month from a company called Alora Africa. Said, Azim, we want to hire you to do a public event in Nairobi. I said to them, look, we are doing an event with Brian Tracy in Tanzania. Why don't we do the same thing in Kenya? They said, that's a very good idea. Now that, to me, is selfless and selfish. Selfless because I shared a stage with Brian in Nairobi, but guess what? Because he's coming there, we're going to get a much bigger crowd than if I was alone. So 100% of 0 is 0. 100% of this small circle is less powerful than 50% of a bigger circle. So when you build business, you build partnerships. You build partnerships. It's not a one-way traffic. I make money and that's it. No, you're my partner. Your customers are your partner. You become a business partner with your customers. They grow, you grow. We all grow. That's power. That's power. Otherwise, you know what? You're a commodity. Somebody comes cheaper, they're going somewhere else. You're easily dispensable. There's no business like that. You cannot run a business like that. But if you have connection, if you have trust, if you have value, they will never go somewhere else. Why is this guy cheaper? And you'll say, hey, because my value in this manner is much higher. Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, said, When people used to complain to me, I was very happy. When people complain to me, you're very happy. Why? Two reasons. One, when they are complaining to me, they're not talking to my competitor. And number two, they're doing my research for me. Giving me money and time to do my own research. When people complain to you, don't say problem, say opportunity. Because when a person complains and you deal with the complaint in a very effective manner, the chances of this person recommending you increase by 70%. Give you two examples. Chimbi from Deloitte went to have lunch or something, and the waiter, the general manager came, took Chimbi, gave him a new shirt, paid his bill for lunch, called him for dinner the next time. David told me that all my clients now, from anywhere, I send them Sarada. One gesture of handling a complaint increases your business many times. So when people complain, your job is to look after them. Go the extra mile, making sure that they are fully satisfied. That's how you build your business with value, with trust. These are business ideas. Now let's look at balanced ideas for a high-performance leader. Number one. How many of you think you're a fantastic time and self-manager? Put your hand up. There's one hand like this in the whole room. Yeah, I mean, nobody is. You know, I thought in my travel in 26 countries, speaking to more than 1 million people live, I was convinced that most companies, even the best of the best of the best, waste 30% of their time.
We're going to invite again Mr. Azim Jamal to kind of touch on the difficulties and problems that we as corporate leaders do face in this country. And then after that, we'll bring on Mr. Brian Tracy to come up and wrap up with the 7 rules of the 21st century. So why don't we put our hands together as we invite Azim Jamal back on stage. Karibu sana.
So Brian has given us a 2-year course in one day. I think the number of ideas that he has shared could take somebody 2 years of MBA or 3 to be able to get all these ideas packed in one day. So our challenge is to really look at them and see what we can implement right away and what we would like to share with our groups at the workplace so they also take part in some of the ideas and then you collectively implement them. But I want to spend just a few minutes trying to bring everything home to Tanzania. For example, he used the example of Walmart. Walmart's success was quality and reasonable prices that made them so big. If you look at Tanzania, I can think of Azam. Quality products, reasonable prices made them very big. So we have similar examples of what we see in the worldwide market in Tanzania. Brian Tracy used many examples of teamwork, leadership, shared vision, delegation, responsibility. When I look at Tanzania, I look at National Housing Corporation. By the way, Nehemiah Chechu is not here, but National Housing is a very big sponsor of our event. But Nehemiah said that when he read Brian Tracy's book, Goals, when he was a young kid, that changed his life. That one book he read changed his life. And he never read another book, because that was enough. And he's the leader of National Housing Corporation, and he's taken a corporation which was struggling to look at the houses in the country now and how many things are being built to phenomenal success with all local leaders. So it shows that it can be done. It can be done when we have the right people in the team, right leadership, teamwork, and do all the things that he was talking about. You can create mega success. The other example I can think of is if you look at NMB, for example. NMB is a mixture of foreign and local. Rabobank is involved, and then the local ownership is there. And they've been able to combine those two to create a very profitable, successful, the biggest bank in Tanzania. So I don't think that these ideas are foreign, although they are based in the United States, although they're based worldwide. We have good examples of those here, but very few. Very few. I think the challenge now is how do we take the small, medium-sized businesses to implement some of these ideas and make it work. Now, I hear it from all the people. I was at one of the banks recently, and I talked to the MD, and I asked him, tell me, what is one of the biggest challenges you're facing? And without taking a breath, he said, responsibility, accountability. He says, people are not responsible, people are not accountable. They get a job, they will throw it to somebody else. They don't do it themselves. And how do you change that culture where people don't take responsibility? Now, it can change. How did National Housing change it? How did Azam change it? How did NMB change? Why can't we? So it's possible. It's not a quick fix. Whatever ideas you learn today will not happen overnight. But we can take some of this and start implementing. And I think one of the best things you can do is to go home and share everything you learn, everything, to your teams. It does two things. Number one, it reinforces your knowledge. The best way to learn is to teach. And number two, you involve other people to help you implement these things. Because remember what I said earlier, there is no one-man army. You cannot do everything or anything significant on your own. You need other people to help you around. And so if you share these messages with others, I think you would have a multiplier effect. The third thing in Tanzania, if you notice, is from the youth in the university that we went to speak to on yesterday. Brian and me spoke to them for 2 hours. You can see apathy. You can see lack of confidence. You can see lack of hope. Brian and we were speaking in the car that what we can do by our message is to create hope, to ignite that spark of hope. Because if there's no hope, there's no future. And you say, why worry about the youth? Every one of you is complaining we can't find good people. It's so difficult to find good people. Where are you going to find good people? Unless you mobilize the youth, inspire them, train them, groom them, coach them, involve them, you're wasting a phenomenal resource that we have in this country, which is the human resource, the human capital, and not just the natural resource which we already have. So I think this room, which is full of leaders who have got this benefit of a phenomenal session from one of the best, the best, not one of the best, the best speaker in this field, I think it's our duty and responsibility not only to share with our team, but with a wider community. Because we all need these people to help us. And their failure, the failure of the youth, is a failure of all of us, because we'll all struggle to find good people. So it's up to us to not only extend our reach to our own people, but a wider people, because we are living in a very small village now. Actually, the whole world is a small village. Forget about just Tanzania. Yeah, so what goes around comes around. So our duty, I tell Nayambam Chechu, Zuhura, David Chimbi, people who are local, who have done well in the business world, I tell them, your success is only success if you leave a legacy of creating capacity in the local youth. Otherwise, you became successful for yourself. And they all agree. Now we need to find a collective process whereby we all get involved. In fact, the 20 kids who are sitting at the back, who were sponsored by National Housing, I made a commitment with Nehemiah that we'll spend 3 years with them, 3 years, to groom them, to become the future Nehemiahs and the David Chimbis and the Zuras of the future, so that the country will have enough leaders. Because talk is cheap. We can talk and talk and talk, but if we don't do it, we're all responsible. And we can complain. As Brian says, you can complain and you can pass the buck and you can, but that doesn't take you far. So we have to collectively take responsibility for our own good, because we need people in all our businesses. Last point I want to make is, one of the things I find in Tanzania is the alignment of top, middle, and lower. In some companies, you don't have all these structures because they're very small. But in reasonable sized companies, you have a top level, the middle level, and the lower level. And there's no alignment. In some companies, the top are doing very well, but the bottom haven't got a clue what's going on. And the middle is going somewhere else. So one group is going this way, the other group is going that way, and the third group is going this way. So there's no momentum, there's no strength, there is no fusion, there is no synergy. Yeah, so I think one of the things that we learned from Brian is to bring these ideas. How do we align them, the three groups? And one of the things you can do, leadership is at all levels. It's not just at the top. So one of the things you can do is to have this mentoring, coaching system where each one coaches somebody else. So if I coach Nehemiah at National Housing Corporation, Nehemiah has to coach somebody else in his team. And that somebody else has to coach somebody else. And it goes all the way through. Then you build a culture of coaching and mentoring across the line. And that way, the communication process, which Brian was talking about, is aligned all the way through. So the whole team is singing from the same song sheet. Not one guy is singing Billie Jean King and one guy is singing Malaika. The team is not synchronized. It is not orchestrated the best possible way. Yeah? And finally, Brian, you may want to touch upon this, the difference between leadership and management. I feel in Tanzania, there are some good managers who manage, but leadership is missing. Huh? Leadership is missing, the direction. The direction is missing. Once the direction is there, you have a powerful vision, like a star that you aspire for, or like a pebble you possess. And get the people rallied around this aspiring vision and direction. And have a leader who is not just transactional, but a leader who is transformational, who energizes, who empowers, who engages, who inspires inside out. Not just a mediocre leader who tells people what to do. Not just a good leader who explains. Not just a superior leader who demonstrates, but a great leader who inspires. I think until and unless we create leaders, not just managers, we have a long way to go. But the good side is, Tanzania is a country with phenomenal natural resources. The country, 60% plus are less than 25 years old. That's our biggest gold mine. But unfortunately, everybody talks about it, but very little is done about them. You go to university and people feel so depressed because there's no hope, there's no jobs. And everybody's looking for good people. There's definitely a disconnect there. And that's a challenge. We will take it up with us and apply all the principles Brian Tracy has taught us today for this problem. If we solve this problem, the country is going to be very, very bright. Thank you very much. Thank you.
A quick announcement. As soon as we finish here, the platinum ticketers, if you will, those who bought tickets in the category of platinum, will be going to Serena Hotel for dinner, of course, with Azim Jamal and Brian Tracy, starting as soon as we finish here. I also would like to thank some of our sponsors, of course, all of them, especially Excel Management, for really contributing to this, to the success of the event. They have done a lot. They have contributed a lot, and their main expertise, if you could look, there's a banner on that side where we indicate what they do. Their major focus at the time, I believe, is recruitment. So if you're looking for talents and good people, as Azim was saying here, you might as well check up with Excel Management. Mikono speakers, the arrangers of these programs, of this program have actually, as you could see, I mean, this has not been easy. To bring such powerful people like all of you are in a room like this for the entire day, that deserves a lot of congratulations. Let me take this opportunity to actually bring these guys from Mikono to come and give a vote of thanks and appreciation. So why don't you help me welcome Mr. Temi from Mikono Speakers. Karibu.
Do you mind if I speak Swahili? Vote. Who says yes? Well, so I'll speak in English. My name is Temi Regasira. I'm Advocate Temi. If you like, you can call me that. We are young Tanzanians who took initiative to organize this seminar. We have organized a number of seminars in Tanzania, and we are determined to make sure that Tanzania is, Tanzanians are responsible for their own development, because this happened in all other nations who have made a step forward. They didn't depend on other country for them to be able to go forward and make development. So we are determined. We know that we are talking to you as readers. You are already readers, and you have made, you have made it to that level of CEOs, managers, directors, from different departments. So we are determined. You can imagine, maybe some of us from Mikono Speakers, we are not up to your level, but we are determined even to make you explore your highest potential. And all this is possible because of the platform that Mikono Speakers has come up with. Mikono Speakers is the idea of bringing you guys together to look at your problems, to learn from others, to exchange from each other, and to make that progress for Tanzanians. So what we can say in short is that we'll continue doing this and will not rest until when we are able to reach the climax. We heard it from Brian Tracy and Azim Jamal that even the best, they're still learning. So Bruce Lee, the late Bruce Lee said, the more you know, the more you need to learn. So we are taking the same principles, Mikono speakers. You can see this is a team of Mikono speakers. Can you give a big hand of applause to Mikono speakers? They're just university students, but with big ideas. They graduated from their first degrees and master degrees, but they're able to step up, to stage up this kind of seminar. So we'll thank you very much. All the sponsors, I cannot mention, I'm not going to mention the sponsors. Thank you, you people who are very special, who took an opportunity to believe in these young people. I call them young people because I'm crossing the other side. I'm almost 50 now, so. Okay, I forgot to give you one gift. A gift of introducing Mr. Kim Mwando, or Kimwaga Muhando. A gift of introducing Mr. Festus. Of course, I know that you know Deogratias Kilawe. And finally, we don't want to take much of your time because you know you want to chase up the traffic and you want Brian Tracy to come and wrap up. I want to give you a gift of, please stand up, everybody, stand up. Take some deep breath. Just follow up with me, raise up your hands up in the air. Hold your breath in. And lower your hands slowly and breathe out. One more time. Take a deep breath. Raise up your hands in the air. Bend backwards a little bit. Slowly lower your arms and breathe out. And you may sit down. By the way, I'm a yoga instructor for over 20 years, so this is a gift to make you fresh. Thank you.
And some of us have joined hands with Mikono, and together we'll be doing public speaking and the business presentation skills program starting in August. So if you'd like to enroll, please be sure as you leave the conference, there are forms outside to be filled for anyone who is interested in improving your public speaking and business presentation skills. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's now welcome one more time and the last time my very favorite, the best of the best in leadership development and executive coaching, Mr. Brian Tracy. Karibu.
Thank you, James. Are you ready for more? All right. Let's go to the last section of our workbook, and this is kind of our wrap-up. Whenever I do a seminar, I like to have something at the end, which is like dessert. And this is dessert. We call these 7 rules for the 21st century. And these are rules that if you follow them, you're going to be much more successful and much happier. Rule number 1 is that your life only gets better when you get better.